Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk, thinking right, out here in the lab. Why do what I do for you? I'm in the book. I just found a nice lesson I want to bring forth to you. We in the Anuian theology book this time, but it's some information, and it's talking about the Anuian theology, the mystical philosophy of Ra religion. So we're going to be dealing with Ra as the high God. And the title is The Deities and Myth of the Creation. What's that? I'm going to break that down for you. Then I'm going to tell you about the myth of Ra, Asar, Aset, and Heru. This is the lesson that if you want to be a right thinker, you need to master this concept. Why? Because this will give you the information you need about yourself. Let's go. Hope you can understand the concept. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. Message in the story for life. Yeah, I give life lessons by any means necessary to get my point across, to get you to know thyself. So yeah, that's what I do for you. I give you life lessons. You tune in. Hope you're working out for you. Obviously, something working because you're tuning in. I appreciate you. Let's do what we do. Right Thinker's mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission, to get all right thinkers to do just that with the knowledge and understanding information that I give you every day. No excuses, okay? No reason why you don't get what you need. If you put the work in, you'll be just fine. Let's go. Knowing thyself is the ultimate goal for right thinkers, but the mission for me. The question I asked, do you know you? Is rhetorical. Because if you had the answer, cool. If not, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I think for you. A person who knows not, and knows not that they know not, is foolish. Disregard that. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right think with know myself. And to Mayat be true. This is going to be a nice lesson because when I first started out, this is one of the lessons that really set everything in motion for me. Hope we can do it for you. Now, the deities are the myth of the creation. Who are they? The characters of or deities of the creation can be seen, listen, as spiritual principles. Again, principles which a person who considers him or herself to be a spiritual right thinker or aspirant should follow. I'm giving you the things that you need. If you want to be a right thinker, this is what you need. That's why I'm giving it to you. If these principles are followed, watch this, they will allow you, the practitioner, right thinker, to what? Develop your spiritual qualities, and these will lead to what? Spiritual enlightenment. Everything we do, everything I teach is to enlighten you spiritually, which is mental and physical and feeling the desire, heart, mind, coherence, whatever you want. But you need to have them working together. Harmony is two things working as one. So your heart and mind should be in harmony. That's the spiritual concept. And being enlightened, that's what you're doing. They can, watch this, they can be seen as a ladder for what? Climbing from the bottom, low level, lower self, earth, the lowest level, okay, to what? The top of creation, which is who? Haru, the divine self. That's you. It's in you. The spirit in you is considered to be Haru. That's what you want to find. That's who you want to get to know. Thyself. It's a godly divine self. It's a spirit passed down from his father. He's the reincarnation of his father. Symbolically. spiritually and metaphorically. Now, let's go. Now, in order to understand the relationship and spiritual message, is when, excuse me, in order to understand the relationships and spiritual message, it will be necessary to review what the Assyrian resurrection myth. That's what we're about to get into right now. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's taking you somewhere. All you got to do is follow along, pay attention. I'll get you there. So, therefore, this is a summary of the myth and its mystical teachings. Remember, mystical teachings is Shita, hidden message. Excuse me, but that's what it means. They call it mystical. We call it Shita. Same thing. So understand that. Now you got the terminology. Now it should make sense to you. Let's go. So it's a mystical teaching, and it is included below. I'm going to take you through the story. Okay, the creation. In the beginning, everybody starts with in the beginning. Wasn't nobody there, but we all start at the beginning. So understand mythological concepts. Everybody starts from the beginning. There was no creation. Okay. There was no sky. There was no earth. There was no people and no planets or sun. There was nothing. The noon, the primordial ocean, they called it consciousness, just waiting for something to happen. That's the noon. That's the unconscious consciousness where it's there. They just ain't conscious of it. That's what I try to explain to you. Knowing thyself is becoming conscious of your consciousness, if you understand it, like the wordplay, but it's to be understood your higher self. Watch this. There was only prime evil ocean without form. Again, I try to explain it to you. They tell you right there. I should just keep reading. Shut up. Okay. I'm let the book tell you the story. Here you go. So then out of this ocean emerged who? Ra. Ra was lifted out of the ocean. You see a picture where you see the noon lifting Ra up in the boat with his 9 god and goddesses. What? Okay, again, just read the stuff to you. Sorry. Ra was lifted out of the ocean by who? Noon. The ocean itself. Okay. He creates everything out of himself. Hence the supreme one. I'm everything. That's what he's trying to show you. We understood that mythologically, so we try to give it to you. So now watch this. Now with him, what happened? He brought into existence. Again, he brought into existence who? The 9 god and goddesses of creation. That means some things that's going to be happening that he had to make sure was there before creation was created. That's the concept. Watch this. And we're going to break it down for you. Hope you get a better understanding. The God. And now 2 of those 9 gods were God and goddess were who? Asar and Aset. Asar represents spirit that's in man. That's God. That's God in the flesh. Y'all Christians call him Christ, but we call him Asar. Okay? That's the spirit that's in man. The first man, not Adam. No, Asar was ours. And his counterpart was Aset. She represents intuitive wisdom and knowledge. So you have that innate knowledge that you have to tap into. By studying her, you learn how to do that. These are all aspects of your character. And once you learn every aspect of these characters, you will know thyself. That's the goal. That's the game plan. Hope you get it. Let's go. Now, let's talk about and by doing this, they came to Earth to do what? To lead human beings to what? Discover the power, the proper way to live and to what? Listen, attain happiness and spiritual enlightenment. Again, the only way you can get to that place up there where the body dies is to be spiritually enlightened. God is spirit. Knowledge is enlightenment. You need to know God and know thyself. Now let's talk about the story of Asar Aset and Heru. Wow, okay, I got a little time. This might take a minute, but I'm gonna try to run through this. But it's a good story. All right, here you go. Asar and Aset dedicated themselves to the welfare of humanity and sought to spread civilization throughout the earth as far, watch this, as India and China. Sometimes Asar would travel around the world without Aset at his side. At other times, they would travel together. Aset continued to what? Rule over Egypt while Asar was traveling around the world. So she held it down. Now, during the absence of Asar from his kingdom, here we go now. His brother, Set. Set represents what? The ego part of your character. We gave him an identity, but the idea is the ego. Watch this. Set had no opportunity to make invocations in the state. Why? Because Set was extremely vigilant in governing the country and always upon her guard and watchful for any irregularities or unrighteousness. That means she was on guard against wrongdoers. And Set, the ego, is a wrongdoer. But here we go. Upon Asar's return from his tour into the world, it got a little funky. Why? Because carrying the teachings of wisdom abroad, there were merriment and rejoicing throughout the land when he came back home. However, one day after Asar returned through his lack, now they making this sound like an excuse to me, through lack of vigilance. Some people call it righteous indignation. Through lack of vigilance, became intoxicated. There you go. It had to be something to take you out of your normal to do something that you wouldn't normally do if you wasn't. So everybody rely on what? Intoxication, I got weed, whatever it is. That's all excuses to make the bad act. But watch this. Whatever you explain it, however you excuse it, watch the repercussions. McCoy, he became intoxicated, and what happened? He slept with Set's wife. Set's his brother. Nephthah is Set's wife. Isis is Asar's wife, and they gave him but there's a few stories. Now, I tell that story a few different ways. I can take it to the child way and raise it up to the adult way. If I can do my overnight show, I'd have a whole different concept for that. A lot of people like that because they like that, yeah. But the bottom line is he slept with his brother's wife. And watch this, Nephthah. Now, Nephthah represents what? Mortality. When mortality falls in love with what? The spirit gets loose and intoxicated and falls in love with what? With nature. So they mate. In between them two became an offspring. That's Anubis. And they try to show you where spirit, mortality come together. That offspring is discernment. Anubis, he represents discernment. He's the embalmer. He's the one that can do whatever needs to be done. Why? He's the epitome of I'm just doing my job. And his job is to embalm, lead you to his father when he came down there. That was his job. Or lead you to Amet, the devourer. But that's what he do. And these are all aspects of your character. Sorry about that. Get back to the lesson. Get back. Start reading. Stop talking. All right. Now, when he slept with his wife, his brother's wife. Now, Nephthah loved Asar and seized what? The opportunity to sleep with Asar at a time when he was what? Not vigilant. Since she looks just like I said, they're twins, they're inseparable, except for what? Their headdress. Nephthah is the result of the union with Asar. Wait a minute. Nephthah, as a result of the union with Asar, begot who? Anubis. Let's change that to you. So I was saying, just read it. I got to stop getting ahead of the game and just read the information to you and go from there. Come on, speed the process up, I'm sure. But watch this. Now, Set, who represents what? The personification of what? Evil forces. He ain't the devil. He ain't bad. A little uncool, a little rough around the edges, but he a bad man. Watch this. In his own rights. Plotted to what? And jealously and in anger, the blinding passion that what? Prevents forgiveness. He could not forgive his brother for what he did. So he planned to kill him. Sorry, but they're giving away the secret again. I keep telling the plot. All right, so what's this? Now that prevents the forgiveness and understanding in oneself. We all have set in us. If you wrong me, I'm going straight set. So that's the concept. Watch this. Now to usurp the throne and what? He conspired to kill the Tsar and take the throne for himself. But you would think that, well, he bad. No. He had a plan. Why? He got jealous, rage. He gonna get back. That's anger. That's what he's trying to show you. That part about you is never good. So Set secretly what? Got the measurements of Asar Okay, now he comes deceit, it comes trickery, right here. He got the measurement of Asar and constructed what? A coffin. What the? Yeah. Back in them days, coffins was big business. So he had the real fancy one, dressed up, laid out. But it would only, he said, anybody who fit in it is tailor made for the song. But the deal was a big party, and everybody wanted to get to try the coffin. Everybody wanted to get the coffin. Everybody went. So here we go. So now through again trickery, I told you, Set was what? Able to get Asar to what? Try on the coffin for size. Yeah, man, check it out. Check it out. Watch this. While Asar was resting in the coffin, it fit him to the T. He's like, yeah, this is mine. It's mine. It says it sure is. And what happened then? Set and his 72 assassins, friends, associates, locked it down and then dumped it in the Nile River. So they sealed the coffin tight and put it in the river. Okay? That was the first time. Now you would think that might be okay in the nah, it's just getting started. So let me get this lesson. Yeah, I got a little time. Let me work through this. So the coffin made its way down the Nile Valley to the coast to Sierra, okay, where it became embedded in the earth, and from it grew a tree, which is the most pleasant aroma in the form of a jed, okay, Djed or Jed. DJ, say it spell it ED. But the Jed is what? Is the symbol, watch this, of Asar's back. When you see that little pillar thing, the four creases up top, the bottom down here is lower nature. The four top is the higher nature. That's what you want to be. The bottom is base, steadfast and good and foundation. But you want to raise your conscious level to four levels. Getting ahead of the game again. Sorry about that. Let me get back to that. But it represents Asar's back. And then you hear the word Jed, Jedi, Jedu, Jedi, Return of the Jedi. Okay, it has, watch this, four horizontal lines in relation to what? Firmly established straight column. The Jed column is symbolic of what? The upper energy centers, aka the chakras or the serpent power that relate to the levels of what? Consciousness of spiritual knowledge. I get excited. That's what I'm saying. God is spirit. We need to have spiritual knowledge. Hence, spiritual enlightenment. They go hand in hand. It's a play on the word, but it means a lot. Just like know thyself. Thy is God. That's your inner self. So it breaks down. If you understand it, I can make it work. So let's go. Now, the king of Syria, he was out walking in the garden with his stuff, and the tree, it smelled good. So immediately he fell in love with the smell and had him cut it down and bring it to his palace. So he had a tree cut down and brought to his palace. Aset, Asar's wife, who is the, watch this, to personification of life-giving mother, force in creation and in all humans. She had love for all. But watch this. She went to Syria in search of her husband, Asar. Her search led her to the place in Syria, the king, where she took a job as a nurse of the king's son. Now this would get a little sketchy. This is what I call, the fluff. Every evening, Asar would put the boy into a fire, try to make him immortal. She had powers to do that. The mother didn't know that, so one time she caught him doing that, consumed by her immortal parts to burn out the mortality of the human, thereby transforming him into what? Immortality. Fire is what? Symbolic of both physical and mental purification. Most importantly, fire implies wisdom, the light of truth, the illumination, and the energy which burns away what? The ignorance and the egoism. That's why they call light knowledge, because it disturbs darkness, which is ignorance. That's why they got the two going together. And you got, I said, watch this, by virtue of her qualities, she has the power to what? Bestow immortality through what? The transformative powers of her symbolic essence. She can get you where I'm trying to get you to God, your higher self. And that will make you immortal. Knowing thyself is going into what? Immortality. She symbolizes intuitional wisdom, which what? Leads to the eradication of what? Mortal consciousness and the birth of immortal consciousness. Booyah. Aset then told the king that Asar was her husband and what happened. The pillar was made in the tree, and he graciously gave her the pillar to Jared, and she returned with it to Kemet, but the body was still inside the tree itself. Okay, mummified but in there. What, with the assistance of the crocodile, Sawback, another one of the aspects of your really beastly nature represented by Sawback. Okay, he's the crocodile God, and he was a bad man, but he represents helping Asar because in the physical world he had the strength to do it. He carried Asar on his back. He brought the body of Asar back to Kemet. Okay. Now, upon the return to Kemet, Aset went to the papyrus swamps where she laid Asar's dead body, and fanned him with her wings. You see how wings stretch out? That's giving life. Watch this. And what she's doing, she's infusing him with what? New life. She had the power to do that. In this manner, Aset revived Asar through her power of love and wisdom. Okay? And then what? They united once more. Now, you hear him say once more. The other story goes for the kid lesson, she's a virgin. That's where they got the virgin birth from. Okay? She brought him back. They never consummated the marriage. So they had one fling. He died, but he left birth, his offspring, which is us, which is Heru, the spirit in the physical form, resurrected in his likeness, in his image, which is human beings in the physical form. Sorry about that, but let's get to this. Now, from that concept, from their union was conceived a son, Heru, Horus from the Greeks, with what? The assistance of who? Watch the gods, Tahuti and Amun. Heru therefore was born from what? The union of spirit, which Asar represents, and the life-giving force, which Asar represents, physical nature. He's going to master the physical domain. That's what we're here in the physical world to do. Thus, Heru represents what? The union of spirit and matter, yin and yang, coming physical, and the renewed life of what? Asar, his rebirth, hence resurrection. Moving on. So one evening, Set was hunting in the papyrus swamps, and guess what? He came upon Aset and Asar. And in a rage of passion, he dismembered the body of Asar into, they say here, several pieces. Some people say 72. We know it as 14. I had a young kid in my class who knew a little bit about this story, and his mother was there when he told the story. When he got to the part about the penis, he said, the reproductive part. I said, yeah, he mean penis. Okay, but respectfully, he wasn't gonna say it about his mother. I like that. It's funny to me, but he understood the story. But yeah, and they found everything, 13 pieces, not the 14. It was eaten up by the scarab. So they scattered the pieces throughout the land. And this way, it is set. The brute force of our bodily impulses, watch this, and our lower desires in the physical world, that what? That will dismember our higher intellect. Meaning, he will self-destruct. The Set hieroglyph is a man with a hatchet to his head, so he's self-destructive if you let him do what he do. Excuse me. And I'm gonna end this lesson because it's gonna be a little long. I ain't really gonna be that long, but I'll be back with part two. This is ending on Asar getting cut up into 14 pieces, and Set's gonna resemble him. That's what the idea of the intuition of knowledge. She know how to do certain things like that. I'll be back.